Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Spore Herbivore. I am Solanus Dracone and we'll be picking up where we left off. Back on Planet Harmonia we have entered the tribal stage, which means a whole new style of gameplay. With the change from the creature stage to the tribal stage, it's no longer manual control of every movement that your critter makes. It's now point to where you want them to go, and that's purely how they move. It plays like a real-time strategy game where you're commanding the individual units. So on this particular load up, then we're going to discuss some of the mechanics behind the game itself, behind the tribal stage portion. And as you can see here, we are in our newly minted village, and it's a nice little village that we got here with a fire in the center and a hut, and this is our food table. We are going to go back into the social stance. Now here, when you hover over the hut, you've got your tribal planner, and it's going to show you what buildings you start off with. There are three types of building: food and healing, instruments, and weapons. Weapons are mainly for aggressive things, attacking and killing other creatures and other races now that we've got people and tribes. Instruments are purely for the purpose of socializing with other creatures. And we're going to see how the socialization process works. Food and healing, there's only one healing item, the rods, and you send those out with your tribesmen carrying them to keep your other guys topped up with health as best as possible. I never use them because I have a very aggressive blitzkrieg kind of playthrough, but the fishing spears and the gathering canes are very useful for gathering up bits and pieces. Well, not bits and pieces, excuse me, for gathering up food. There is also the tribal outfitter, where you can put the clothes on your creature, and clothes are how you can address your stats now. As mentioned before, it does matter what parts you put on before you move into the next area, and as you can see, I've already got a speed level 5 from the feat. That's purely a function of the feat that I ended the creature stage with, and speed is obviously it's important for movement. You also have some new types of stats. You have the gathering, which basically gives you a bonus to the amount of food that you bring in, which is very important. Gathering is a big portion of this. There's the combat, which purely affects the damage that you do with your weapons. It's useful if you're a carnivore / aggressive, but it's not very useful if you are not going to be killing anything. Sorry, I had to mute for a coughing fit there. Then there's the social, which we will be taking advantage of. This improves the effectiveness of your social actions towards the other races. And that's, honestly, I haven't found there to be a great effect in the results, but adding social doesn't hurt either. So then there's speed, of course, which we discussed, and for some reason this is called gathering, but it is still health. That's how many HP you have, and it just ups your resistance to dying, essentially. Just took a little drink of water there, excuse me. As before, adding on parts that have the same stats will not stack these stats. So there is absolutely no point to putting on multiple pieces of gear just to try and raise your stats up. Again, they will default if you put on the Dockworka and you get the health upgrade, then adding a further one that has health on it is not going to give you more health. So there's the hats, and social, I'd like a little bit of social, but this is the hats section, this is the masks section, and I'm not going to be equipping any masks because these have pretty low stats for what I'm going for. Here's the chest section, which I am going to be I'm going to be putting on the fancy pack, because it has a high gathering, and that's going to be really useful for me. This sort of playthrough is you want your gathering up. I'm just going to adjust it there so it looks like it's kind of covering my crotch. And then there's got the shoulders, which you're not tied into that. You're not married to that. You don't have to put them on your shoulders. Now these again have inferior stats to what are available in the hats section. So I'm going to put on the Ultra Fez, which brings my socializing up to level 3. And I'm also going to introduce the Dockworka, which is going to bring my health up to level 3. And again, they can be hats if you want them to be, or they can just be chest pieces. Use your imagination, guys. So we're going to go ahead and save that, because that's going to be my starting build. And we're returning to the tribe. I kind of made a little bit of an error in judgment at the end of the creature playthrough. I actually usually like to entice 3 different species to be my allies in the pack before proceeding to the adventure stage. Not the adventure, excuse me, to the tribal stage. But unfortunately, I forgot to do that. I was very tired by the end of the filming of the last episode, and I had just been neglecting to do that. But you'll get to see, as a result of that, you will get to see an example of how you do domesticate animals, and that is very useful as another source of food income here. You also have the special skills of the socialized tribal stage, which are fireworks, which you can use those to intimidate people around you. If they're attacking you, it'll kind of distract them, and it gives you the opportunity to get a jump on them. And then there's the refreshing storm, which I've never used it before, but it supposedly causes a great big sea monster to push a bunch of fish up on shore. Now, of course, since we're herbivores, then we don't pull fish out of the sea. You're going to see as I go gathering, what we pull up is seaweed. That's nice, but as this particular tribe, you're going to be gathering fruits mainly. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to add a baby. I want to get my tribe up to maximum size here, and the baby, once it hits the egg on the right here, then it will take precisely 60 seconds to mature to adulthood and be usable. Food is the currency. As you gather food, then your little food meter down here, it used to be DNA, will increase, and and that's good because you want to have the resources. Success in this stage is all about the resources. Here you see the first of the rival tribes has come out of their own hut. Other creatures are evolving even as we are playing. A rival tribe of Volin has formed on your planet. So, yeah, now we've got these guys to worry about, and you can see them, they popped up on the map. Now, when you hover over their house icon, then you see that they are just ambivalent to my existence. The yellow face means that they couldn't care less whether I live or die. You'll also see the orange face for the angry ones, and you'll see the blue face for the happy ones, and red face for the ones that want to kill you, so that's important to manage in this stage. As you can see, another baby has just been born, has reached adulthood, I should say, and I'm going to send him off to gather. And I'm going to fill up the other 2 baby slots that I have. One of the things I want to do as soon as possible is to get a couple of animals into my pen, which you'll see it behind the hut there. There's the pen area. And when you've domesticated an animal, they will walk over to the pen and begin to lay eggs. Now, as I'm going to scroll in, as you can see around the pen here, the eggs will appear in this little nook, and all you have to do is send a guy to go gathering them. And if you had befriended 3 other species, or even 1 other species into your pack, when you started the stage, or before you ended the creature stage, then you would already have them there. Not a big deal. The animals do take about 15 to socialize. I'm going to test that. I'm going to tell my chief, and I'm going to send him up to the alpha bearers here. And I have 24 now, and I just spent 15. So I spent 15 to go domesticate this animal here. And I just had 2 new babies, or not babies, but 2 new critters grow up to the stage of adulthood. So you can kind of see on the map, it probably doesn't come in very clear, but when you look at the water, there's going to be little bitty fishy icons that appear next to it. And that's where you can go and collect fish if you're a carnivore, and seaweed if you're a herbivore. And I'm going to send 2 of my guys over to start gathering that. Now, you would think normally, send them all, but the pathing remains terrible here, and these guys get really confused really quickly if you try to have too many gather around the same spot. I'm probably going to have tons of problems with them just not knowing what to do. They tend to queue up here, and it's just going to be a nightmare. So I've got everybody gathering now, and I got a domesticated creature, and I'm just going to go ahead and try to domesticate some more. Now, what's going to happen also is you've got hunger meters on each of your tribesmen, and they will tend to themselves. If you leave them alone in the village, like you see my chief doing here, he will go and eat on his own. He doesn't need me to tell him to go eat. So as long as they're standing around in the tribe area, they will eat. Now, I am directing the screen around with the arrow keys, and I'm just looking for other critters that I can add to my pen in the back there. As you can see, I'm getting it up pretty quickly. I'll go ahead and get one of these book guys. I think that's going to be very useful. Just, you know, I like to keep my critters that I put in there as not just as thin as possible, because they will start to trample all over each other. Another cool thing is that if you do get attacked by animals or by other tribes, then these animals will come out and help fight. So that's just, there's so many benefits to having domesticated animals that you want to have them. Even as a carnivore, you can have the domesticated animals. So I got a books, and that's very nice, and I'm going to go and I don't want to try and do the Trichaians or whatever the hell those are. They look like they're angry in general, and I don't think they'd be very good additions to my little squad there. I'll get one of these guys. I'm just, you know, I want to fill up the 3. An annoying thing that'll happen once in a while is you'll get a spaceship appearing, and they'll actually try to abduct your animals and succeed. So got to be mindful of that. Now, as you can see, the little food table here is going to start populating up with the types of food I'm bringing in. You got your fruit here and your seaweed here, and you'll get the eggs over here. So I'm sending my chief out to go do the socializing. The chief is absolutely necessary when you're trying to socialize with other tribes. He's not necessary at all to send out if you're just sending your tribesmen off to attack the other tribes. I like to keep the chief in the village, possibly gathering eggs, simply because if you leave the village alone for too long, you will get wild animals trying to come and steal your food. That's not fun. You don't want that to happen to you. It's very, very minimal amount of effect it honestly has, but you just try to protect yourself. Alright, I'm going to zoom out a bit, and you see the benefit of the wings is that my guys can just fly back wherever they want. So the first order of business along the social path is I'm going to get out a set of maracas. Just put the maracas hut there, and that's going to give me the ability to equip some of my guys with the maraca tool. And that's very important if you're going to be socializing. Now, I'm only going to need 2 guys to get maracas here. So I'm just selecting the 2 from the list here, holding the mouse button down, and I'm telling them to get the maracas. And what they're going to do is whatever food they're carrying, they will come back, place it on the table, and then they will go and grab the tool that you need. You really don't have to have a ton of tribesmen with the socialization tools in your party when you go to entice the other people, but I generally like to have 2 or even 3 carrying, you know, the same instrument, just to slightly increase the potency. So I've got my 2 guys here that have the maracas. I'm going to bring 1 guy back just to stand in the village and protect. I got the other guys off fishing now, and I'm going to go try and befriend this tribe. So here we go. Doesn't matter who you click on. I usually like to click on the chief, so I'll do that. And ooh, look over here. There is an epic. So there's going to be towards the end, when I've got everybody enticed, then I'm going to be trying to go kill that epic, because they are a menace. Now the maracas always settle to number 2 on your little social bar here. The wood horns will be in 1, and the didgeridoos will be on 3. So as you're going to see right now, this is how the socialization works in the tribal stage. The music starts and they want maracas. When they pop up those little bubbles, you just play the instrument they want to hear, and the bar rises. It is not complicated at all. It is absolutely easy, and you know, just it's all about doing the timing. And if you're even mildly, if you're even mildly on with the timing, then this is going to be simple. So I'm going to socialize them again. And I socialize these guys. It's pretty easy because they're the only guys there. More are going to pop up around and start to become a hazard. You can't start socializing unless they are at least at yellow face with the ambivalence. So I completely have socialized this tribe, and the new ones are all starting to form up. And, I'm going to see how they feel about me. One thing that happens when you socialize a tribe is that you actually get the use of their tools and the use of their clothes. They are added to your repertoire, so these guys had obviously some clothes and some tool huts that I can add to my collection. And every time you socialize or kill a tribe, you get a totem, and you get the little trumpet blowing totem here if you socialize them, and then there's an angry face totem if you kill them. You have made the Brown Village your allies. To celebrate, they have shared a totem piece, as well as new tools and outfits with your tribe. These have been added to your tribal planner. Excellent. So it's going to pan over to my tribe, and whenever I hit a certain level, then my hut increases and the size of my tribe increases. And it makes my hut grounds a little nicer, I suppose. That's cute, that's nice. Your tribe grows in prestige. You have a larger hut to show for it, and your tribe can now sustain up to 9 tribe members. So that's duty number 1, is I'm going to give birth to these babies right off the bat. I want more people in my tribe. Add baby, add baby, add baby. I'm going to take a quick look around, just a brief little check to see how everybody feels about me. The brown hut are absolutely my friend, and another benefit of when you have friendly huts or friendly villages is that they will occasionally bring you food. They'll bring you gifts. Now, we look over here, and the cyan village absolutely hates me. The green village is not pleased with me, and the pink village. So right off, again, everybody's just hateful. And the way that you deal with that, the way that you get around that, is you bring them a gift. So you go over to their village, and you just send one person over to their village and right-click, and what happens is that a gentleman or lady or whatever will go out and bring them some food. Now, these guys obviously have their own problems. I am not going to go messing with them just yet. But I'm going to try and get everybody as uninterested in me as possible, because I don't need anybody coming and attacking. And my babies are now reaching adulthood, which is great. And I'm going to have my chieftain, which I should have some eggs in the bin now, if this guy wasn't standing. And I'm going to have my chieftain go start collecting eggs. And typically you don't want to have more than 3 guys collecting eggs, otherwise there's just going to be hassle. I'm also going to go into my tribal planner because I have some new buildings. I have the gathering canes, which will be very good for gathering fruit. Anybody you want to go and gather fruit, you're going to want to equip these gathering canes on them. Didgeridoos have been added. That's pretty much it for those. In the tribal outfitter now, let's see what we have. We now have a new hat, which gives more combat and more health. I don't really need combat, and I don't really need health right now. No new masks. New chest pieces, health level 5. Not all that worried about it, don't need combat either. And that's what I've gotten. These last 2 are just purely decorative, they have no stat value, and I will not be using them. So just cancel out of this. I can't afford a new hut yet, so I'm just going to be going ahead and having them just continue to gather. But yeah, I've got my fish guys out there. They're going and grabbing seaweed, and I'm going to send these guys back to gathering fruit. These guys right here, I'm going to have them gather fruit as well. And I'm just going to try my very best to keep from getting attacked. So, Green Village and Cyan Village now, you can see they're ambivalent, but they will eventually become angry toward me again. Let's see, who is not currently doing anything? Well, I'll send one of these Moroccans over, because now the epic has moved on. I'm just going to give these guys a gift so that they'll leave me alone for a little while. And then that's the whole name of the game. You want them to just leave you alone. My chieftain is gathering eggs, and as you can see on the food table, that makes a little pile of eggs appear. So, yeah, that's more or less the way that this stage goes, is you just have them gather. Now, because I can afford the Gathering Cane's hut, I'm going to put one down. I'll just put it up on the corner here. And so everybody that is doing the fruits thing, yep, now the Pink Village don't care that I exist. Everybody that's doing the fruits thing, I'm going to tell them to go and get some Gathering Canes. These two guys are still fishing. Well, actually, I can send another guy fishing, so I'm just going to have him do that. And again, I say fishing, I mean gathering seaweed. Gathering seaweed will become easier when I have the fishing rods, or the fishing spears, rather. So I am going to probably want to make my next village that I go and address be one that has the fishing spears. So I'm going to check out what these guys have. And you got the little building with the fish on it. These guys are fishermen, so that's great. I am going to now add the didgeridoos in. And I'm going to just go right ahead and try to get into the whole socializing those guys thing. Really, one of the more effective ways to play this is to take the blitz method. You know, you don't want them to get too big and aggressive and angry at you before you have a chance to go and soothe them, as it were. So, yep, I have two guys with didgeridoos, two guys with maracas. I'm going to go over to the Cyan Village because they have some parts that I want. Let me zoom in just a bit. And so we're going to go over and try to make friends with these guys. Now that I have the didgeridoos as well as the maracas, they're probably going to be asking for me to mix it up a bit, so the important thing is just watch for what they want you to do. It's really hard to screw this up. The chieftain has to be there for socializing. It's required. Didgeridoos. Maracas. Oop, did the wrong one. They wanted maracas, I did the didgeries. Maracas now. I think you get a little bit of leeway. You don't have to be all that grand. I guess you do, actually. Alright, we're going to change things up. One more guy with a maraca, one more guy with a didgeridoo. And we're going to try this again. The Cyan Village, I do not want them to hate me. So now I have to wait for the other two members of the tribe with their instruments to come over. And I'm hopefully going to have a little bit more of an advantage now that I've got the extra instruments. So let's let the concert begin. Didgeridoos, and yeah, I get a little bit of a boost from that. Just try not to do the wrong thing, really, is the lesson here. Maracas. And that's really all it takes. You do not have to go and kill them. There's a lot less effort involved on your part if you just socialize them, because you could rapid-fire socialize them with no risk to yourself. Alright. One more socialization. Wild animals are coming. I'm not worried about it. I've got 86. Just one more, I think. Alright, and now these guys are my friend. Now, until I reach this part, I'm not going to get a bigger hut and more members, so I have to impress one more tribe to do that. But everybody's happy. Celebrate. And yet another totem piece. You have made the Cyan Village your allies. A totem piece has been added to your tribal totem. The tools and outfits of your allies now fill out your tribal planner. So that's great. That's absolutely wonderful. I do very much want the fishing canes, or the fishing spears, so I'm going to add those on. I'll just put them at the bottom right there. And now I've got the wooden horns, so I now have all these social instruments that I want. I will probably be using some weapons against the epic for when I go to fight it. So, I'll place a weapon shack down when I'm ready to do that. Going into my tribal outfit planner, I now have the tier drop, which that's pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and equip that because it has a higher social rating. But let's just look around the others. Combat, social, not so interested. Nothing new here. 4 health here. Okay, so the best choice is going to be the tier drop. I'm going to put that on top of this guy's head. Whoops. And shrink it just a bit so I don't look all that silly. And now I have 4 social, and I'd like to have more gathering. So let's see if there's anything new that increases my gathering. No, there really isn't. Yeah, I got what I got. So it's a small improvement in my social, but it's not going to be all that epically amazing. So now that I have this setup going on, I'm going to try and consolidate a bit more on just gathering, and I'm going to have my guys come in and grab some fishing spears, as well as some gathering canes. Also, as soon as everybody gets back to the village, then I'm going to have a couple more people gathering eggs, and I should manage to bring in quite a tidy profit. I'll just wait till everybody's home. And Cyan Village are my friends, so I have nothing to worry about from the east at this point, so that's wonderful. Okay, 3 guys go back to fishing. 3 guys go back to gathering fruit. Let me try to get a little bit closer to the village there. I don't know. There we go. And then these 3 guys, or these 2 guys with the chief, are going to gather eggs from the basket. Now the eggs will run out, and the fruit trees will also go dry, and the fishing holes go dry, so you kind of want to be careful about how many people you send and how much time you spend there, because you can run out of food in a certain spot and you'll have to move on. But yeah, this is so far going pretty good. The Pink Village and the Green Village haven't decided to be angry at me yet again. They will eventually, though. They are fickle-natured. And just to kind of see how the gathering canes work, we're going to follow one of these guys around. The gathering canes work by, they just whack the tree with it, and it drops all its fruit. And they pick it up much quicker. Otherwise, they're individually picking it, and it takes longer. Let's take a look at our guys who are fishing, bringing in the seaweed, and they're just able to bring in more seaweed. They're able to gather it faster with their little fishing spears, so that's wonderful. And again, bringing in as much food as possible. I just want to have an advantage, because the advantage is in numbers in this stage, especially in combat. You want to have enough guys to be able to recharge your fighting force, because you're probably going to lose a couple guys. And now the Cyan Village is bringing me a gift, so that's very nice of them. He's wandering to me. They're bringing me the gift with the very peaceful music. They're very happy about the fact that they're coming to pay me tribute. So, I mean, that just makes the stage go a lot easier. You have people less inclined to start messing with your stuff. They are going to leave the basket there, and they'll hang around for a little bit, yelling their gibberish. One of my guys will see them eventually and say, "Oh, hey, food. Thanks for the gift," and they'll pick it up automatically. If somebody in your village is within range and can see it, sometimes you have to kind of make them. I'll make the chief go grab the basket so that I don't insult these guys. Not that it affects anything, but I'll feel bad. Pink Village and Green Village still okay with me. Now, I much prefer the throwing spears weapon. just because it allows all of my guys to hit at once. And I'm switching to attack stance just because otherwise you won't see what type of hut that is. And the pink village has throwing spears. So I'm going to, now that I've got a ton of stuff, I'm going to get one more guy to grab a didgeridoo. I'm going to get 3 people to grab maracas. And these last 2 guys can gather wooden horns. You know what? I'm going to switch things up a bit. I still want these guys fishing. So I'm just going to go with 2 and 2. 2 of each. Let's just reshuffle this whole affair. Get these 2 guys to grab wooden horns. You'll see what kind of tools they're carrying. And I don't want to leave my village empty when I go off to socialize, so I'm just going to go ahead and have my fishing guys come in. Just tell them, come back to the village, guys. So now we're going to go and try to socialize the pink village before they start to get angry at me for no reason whatsoever. Oh god, that guy's still around. Well, hopefully he won't notice me. Because of the problems with these guys clustering around, you're going to have the unfortunate problem that if you are wielding a non-ranged weapon, then just everybody's going to not be able to get what they want. We'll talk about it in a minute. They want the horns, give them the horns. Didgeridoos. This guy is really going to start wrecking with my day if he comes in. He definitely seems to have noticed me, and he just killed my guy. I am going to piss off. Goodbye. You guys can fend for yourself. Goodbye. 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 Good day, sir. God. That guy's a problem. And you'll notice he's the exact same species as, well, not the cyan village, but the brown village. Exact same species. The game just takes certain characters or critters and decides to make them epic. So I lost a man. Dagdarn it. I'm gonna go ahead and get him to get a wooden horn, one of my guys to get a wooden horn, because I want to just get that tribe's, socialization out of the way. And we'll see in a minute. I'll make a demonstration when we go to kill the epic. I'll make a go of it. I'll make a demonstration of how the throwing spears are my favorite weapon because everybody can attack no matter where they're standing. Axes, however, are the most powerful, and I think for an epic, because it's so big everybody can get around it, that's probably the better for hunting epics. But for an aggressive thing, then you don't want that. You don't want to have close quarters combat. You want to have people throwing spears, because these quarters get pretty cramped. But since it's not a subject for a herbivore run, then I am not going to fuss over it. Alright, I have fully befriended the pink village. My baby has become full grown. And the new purple tribe, the lavender village, have appeared. And they hate me already. But that can be fixed with a simple gift. Takes 10 food out. You saw me do it for the others. Now, tribes that hate you will send raiders out to either come and steal your food or kill you. The Pink Village tribe is now your sworn ally. Their totem piece shows their alliance, and they have shared tools and outfits with your tribe. Access them in the tribal planner. And we'll get a pan back to the village, which now improves slightly more. Hooray! So now things are snazzier. And I have 3 more slots for people. My tribal size has increased to 12. Now I'm going to send somebody over to the Lavender Village as soon as possible, because I do not want them to even begin to think of attacking me. So I'm going to go and make a gift. Now, one thing that is interesting to note is that the villages that spawn, the purple village, the lavender village, spawned at full strength 12, and so that's the final boss village, as it were, although you do not have to wait till the end to fight them. But they are the most powerful village and will be the biggest challenge, or biggest problem for you. So you probably want to just get the biggest problem guys out of the way. Now, the people that just don't care about you, generally they will sit around and not care about you for the rest of the game. It's kind of interesting how that works. But these guys started off angry, so they could very well get angry at me again. But in the socialization stage especially, you want to just go ahead and allow your... get it done with. It's the blitz method again. So now that I have some extra guys, I'm going to have one more person get a didgeridoo, one more person get a maraca, one more person get wooden horns. Going to drop down the throwing spears hut. And yeah, let's take a look in the outfitter, by the way. New hats. Gathering level 4, social level 2. Wonderful. My social is already up, but the gathering level 4 is nice. New mask, social level 5, that is the ultimate in social. So I'm going to put the Tiki Gamba mask on there. Nothing new here. Nope, nothing new here. But these are new. Not very good, but they're new. I could use probably more health, although, again, I'm not worried about it. I'm not going to be fighting anybody in one stomp from the epic kills me anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice the health aspect here for this particular stage, just because I want that, that gathering and that social up as much as possible. Alright, so now everybody is equipped for a nice little social thing. I'm going to tell these two guys to grab spears, and they're going to stick around the village just to protect against the animals that come stealing my food. Again, a very blitz method. I don't want to spend too much time. 219 food is an incredible amount, way more than enough to finish off the rest of the map. Again, it would be less true in the carnivore, because you're going to be losing men because you're going to be killing. But this is why I said herbivore is just a lot easier to play. You have less threats to your health. Horns. Horns. Ooh, did the didgeridoos. That's gonna be bad. I might fail. I might not. Nope, I did it. Good, good. You might get to fail one thing, depending on how powerful your social aspects are, and how many instrumentalists you have along with you. Hooray! Thank you guys! That guy got stuck, so he's not letting go. I'll just click him again. Doesn't matter who you click. And pardon all the throat clearing. These allergies won't go away. Been clearing my throat since 2006. Alright, they are now fully my friends. That just leaves the green tribe. So I've got these guys' bits, and yep, they definitely have the axe hut. It's going to be useful. Because I'm not just going to end it once I've befriended everyone. I am going to want to hunt that monster. And it's a good idea to kill the epic if you're an omnivore or a carnivore, because they just put out a lot of food once they're dead. You can get like 100 food easy off of them, maybe more. You have made the Lavender Village your allies. Your totem is nearly complete. Their tools and outfits are now yours to use. Find them in the tribal planner. So we did what we came to do, mission accomplished, and I've pretty much got my workforce set up, so I'm really not going to be worrying about gathering too much. Stone axes, why not? I'll go ahead and put those down instead. I want the best possible situation for when I hunt the monster. I'll be watching for the combat one later. Alright, gathering level 5. I am going to put the charm plate on. It looks kind of like a nice little bag there. That's very cute. But I've got max speed, max social, and max gathering, so that's going to be pretty much the penultimate of me finishing off this stage as far as what's necessary to do. These two guys, since I took away the spear hut, now have nothing, so I'm going to tell them to equip spears. And once more, I'm going to select all my instrumentalists as well as my chief, and go and befriend the green village to end the socialization portion of the stage. As you can see, it really does not take very long at all if you're doing the blitz method, just to go in and get this all out of the way. Just get it done. Once I make these guys my friends, I've fulfilled all of my obligations for socializations with all the other nations. Alright. The thing won't go away, so I'm just going to make my guys move, and there we go. Finish this off. Alright, there you go. God, look at these guys. That is some Rastafarian looking stuff. My apologies to any Rastafarians. I have nothing but the deepest respect for Selassie. You have made the Green Village your allies. The totem is complete. You can advance to the civilization stage now. Fantastic. So now all of my obligations are done, and what I am about to do now is purely for recreation. So I'm taking away the social tools. I have no more use for them. The axe hut is already down. I'm going to move it over here just to give everybody some breathing room. Everybody some room to move around. I send everybody back to grab a stone axe. And I might as well go ahead and change my gear around, because now it becomes important to put combat and health on. Alright, so let's see what has the highest combat. It's probably going to be a mask. Combat level 5. The Obashaka mask. Now, under the shoulder plates is where you tend to find some of the better health options. Or not. The better health option is right here, the health level 5, and that's as good as it gets. I mean, level 5 health, level 5 combat, that's all you need. I'm gonna do my very first aggressive, non-peaceful thing on purpose, because epics have no reasoning. I've been fortunate this game thus far not to have an epic in any of my other stages, not to encounter them. So that's very good. I'll let everybody gather themselves up their tools, and everybody's going to start eating. You can actually command everybody to eat, and I'm going to do that now just to show. You get the dinner bell sound, and what happens is they queue up. They line up. This can be a big problem if you got a lot of clutter around the base of your village here, because they can easily get confused and just stand around. But clicking on the table also causes whoever's carrying some food to come and drop it back off. Excuse you. I want everybody to be nice and full and happy and ready for the final act. So now, here we go. I tell them all attack, switch to my angry stance, and let's go handle some business. Actually, no, let's not handle business, because that's going to send my chief off, and I do not want my chief heading off. We unselect the chief, and then I'll come and sort business. Where'd you go, big guy? I saw you around here. There you go. Now I'm ready. That sucks to be him. Alright, I don't know if I'm going to survive this. He looks like he's already had a chunk taken out of him. Normally they have 1,000 health, so I got a pretty good shot. I'll probably lose some guys though. So the axe, as you can see, does the most damage, and you can get all around the epics with your guys, but I'm losing men left, right, and center, so this is mostly a battle of attrition. But I don't care, he's a threat to life, and I don't want him around. Now he's dead. This is pretty much the first part where you actually begin to be able to take on those monsters. And I'm just kind of curious to see if there are any more around this big world of ours. If there are, then that could be a problem in the civilization stage. Doesn't look like there are. And again, I don't think that if you kill them here that it's going to make a difference. So yeah, that's going to wrap that up, and I will begin the civilization stage in the next episode. So thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in. This has been Let's Play Spore Herbivore, and this is Solinus Dracone. Have a good night.